So today it's an honor to have with us the Dr. Somanath. He's the chairman of ISRO. And I was thinking when I first wanted to talk to you, you're so blessed. People say you have taken Chandrayaan to the moon, but not many people know that you are Somanath, which means Lord of the Moon. So that Somnath name was kept by your parents decades ago. But Somnath is the right name for you because you were meant to take India to the moon. And congratulations on that. The idea of talking to you today, and I'm grateful to you for giving so much time to us, is to try and talk a little bit about science, which you are an expert as a scientist, and spirituality, which you also have some interest. But for example, to start with, you take the Chandrayaan to the moon, and it's a great achievement. But from a scientific point of view, what is your view? The moon, the sun, the earth, this cosmos, this universe. How did it come about? What do you think?
See, right now, as a scientist, if I speak, we have a theory how it came about. It's not 100%. It is, say, 90% clear to us how it came about. We have a big bang of the universe creation, the creation of the stars, the planets, and how materials came about, and how stars lived and died and created all the elements in this universe, and how these elements came together to create the objects like the Earth and my moon. And they started revolving around each other because it is a physics that guides all of these principles. So today we have a theory of how the physically observable universe came about, that we know. So we are part of the all of that understanding. The whole of this knowledge came only a few thousands of years back, and not before that. The human intelligence is the one which deciphered a little bit of how it came about. But there is much more things becoming evident every day that we are not able to answer.
But as a scientist, you believe in the Big Bang. You believe in the Big Bang theory. No doubt there must have been some scientific Big Bang, some chemicals, some explosion. Right. But who caused it? You believe there is a power personally, as a person. Do you believe there's a power? I'm not talking of a God with a name and a form. I'm not talking about religion. So in this conversation, we are not talking about religion.
Okay.
But scientifically, even agreed there was a Big Bang. What do you personally believe? That this Big Bang has something beyond just the Big Bang, or you think it's just the Big Bang?
See, when you talk about scientifically, scientific people will always hypothesize something we don't understand. So there are only two things. I know, I do not. Because the word you use is belief.
Yeah.
Belief is neither of us. I know that there is no believing.
Okay.
It is there, I know. I'm sitting, I do not know, I do not. Then there is no question of believing. Okay, so the Big Bang, do you believe? Has no meaning, it's not a relevant question. I know there was a Big Bang, I do not know there was a Big Bang.
So with all due respect, how do you know there was a Big Bang theory?
So the only way is, we do not know.
We do.
only answer to that is,
yeah.
We theorize that there is a Big Bang first.
Okay.
Assuming that there is a Big Bang at time zero, and if you look at the evolution of the universe,
correct,
it explains the current state of affairs of the universe. If you revert back mathematically, you can reach a point called Big Bang.
Beautiful.
So this is mathematically possible to explain. But we have no proof of Big Bang because there is no way to know that it happened. So I can only say I do not know there was a Big Bang, but all physical observations today lead to a conclusion that there could be a Big Bang.
I love your honesty. Because what happens is, many scientists would just say, no, it is, but you're so humble and you're so honest. People would respect your word. And today I'm going to ask you some questions which I have awakened. For over 40 years, I believed something which I was taught in school.
Yeah.
But I think I'm a fool because I cannot just believe what I was taught. If somebody says, like for example, my teacher told me, practice makes a man
perfect.
Okay. Then I realized nobody is perfect. My teacher taught me wrong. Practice can make improvement, and more practice can make more improvement. But none of us is perfect.
Yes.
So today you are a blessed being. You are Somnath. and you're also a very senior scientist in our country with great respect. But I'm going to ask you some questions from a scientific point of view. So now we are saying, okay, this universe came about, right? So, when were you born, sir? What was your birth date?
My birthday was 60th year was celebrated yesterday.
Yes, wow. That is 12th, this is 11th.
This is, no, actually it's on English calendar, it falls on 16th of February,
Okay.
1964.
But on the lunar,
But an astrological way of looking at it, stars, it falls on the Uttarabhadra star in the mass of Megha, Kumbhami month.
wow.
So that happens to be yesterday.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you a scientific question.
Yeah.
Now, on our passport, on our ID card, this is the birth date. Obviously, not the lunar date, but the English date, right?
English day.
But sir, while we arrived on that date, when were you conceived in your mother's womb, after which you could not change your mother? When was that?
That was maybe few months before.
Correct?
Yes.
9 months before.
9 months before.
And if you were born on this particular day, 1 week before, 2 weeks before, you were kicking your mother. Any doubt?
No doubt.
Therefore, you were alive.
Yes.
Then how can we call this birthday?
You'll have to call on that day by some symbolic. I have no option but to call it as a.
No, we call it arrival day.
Maybe, yes.
No, so you also agree that is it scientific or this is not scientific?
It's perfectly scientific.
Scientific. Because we see the zygote, we see the embryo, we see the fetus. This takes us what Adi Shankara, Ramana Maharishi, they said, if you were born 9 months before, then what were you? Scientifically, what were you? How are we conceived? So scientifically, according to you, how are we conceived?
See, the whole issue of having the feel of self, when it came, then I can say I am there.
Correct.
Until then, something doesn't feel self. I don't think that I am not there. So suppose it's a cell. In many other conception, there are two cells.
Correct.
Just one cell.
Correct.
Just going to be divided. I don't think the conscience of me is existing in that cell. So I believe in the process of growth of the cell to become the me just before that. Some point in time, my conscience, as I see today, would have entered that body. So until then, it's not me. It is just a part of mother.
But if there was no energy that caused this fertilization, then that fertilization would not have happened.
Fertilization would not happen. Agree.
Otherwise, in a laboratory, we should be able to manufacture children.
It is possible. Today also is that connection between the ergot and the sperm to join and to create. It is possible outside the womb, outside the mother. It's possible.
Without scientifically?
Yeah, scientifically it is possible. You can grow to some few cells and you have to put it back if you have to grow further. But the first joining is possible outside.
But sir, every time we want to create a baby, can we create it like that, or there is some force which we have not yet got to understand?
The very first cell joining can still be created outside. It is possible. But as I was telling you, simply a cell is created.
Yeah. But will that cell grow into a baby?
It will definitely grow into a baby. But what I'm telling you is physically it will grow into a baby.
Yeah.
But what I'm speaking about the me as a body or me as a conscience is within the mother come much later. As not as a cell. It has to grow to a certain level in the stage of its growth. Only the life form really enters. As I understand, the conscience really enters.
So let me ask you, scientifically then, let us move to the concept of death.
Yes.
So suppose I'm sitting like this, I'm talking to you now.
Yeah.
In this moment, I'm dead. How would you define scientifically is death?
It is still not defined very well. It is defined only as the brain functions ceasing. That's how the death is looked at. The brain is an electrical activity where the neurons fire and generate commands and activities within the brain. And when that process stops, then we call the person is dead. His brain neural activity comes to a stop. But really, neural activity doesn't mean that your organs have stopped functioning. Some of the organs still function after many hours, after your physical death.
But eventually they stop.
Eventually, every cell has to go. So, the moment every cell in your body vanishes functioning, you can say it's death. It takes, after your observable death, it takes some more hours for you to really die.
That's just like a fan.
Yeah.
If I switch off the fan doesn't stop working. It continues. So that part is okay. But don't you think, in your opinion, is not there some life, some form of life, whether you call it a soul, a spirit, or Atma, or I know scientifically there is no proof of, and because you can't see, so do you believe that some life has left the body personally, you believe, or you don't believe?
See, again, you are using the word belief.
Okay, no, for animal, but
I can only say I do not know at this moment.
Okay.
I do not have a knowledge about that aspect.
Yeah.
But I can tell you one aspect very, very clearly. There is an intelligence working inside me today. Today, what is happening inside me, I am conscious about it. After my death, I am able to experience it. I do not know about it.
So
unless somebody who has died and spoke to me, then I can answer your question properly. Today, I have no experience of that.
But no, somebody who's dead cannot speak to you, obviously.
Maybe you come and speak. But today, I can talk about as a living being.
Yeah.
I can realize that inside I have a conscience, I have an intelligence, which does fantastic things.
So what is that, sir?
It is definitely there. It is something which converts. I eat food. That food it converts to me. I know every cell is changing. Millions of cells are shed and new cells are created. I'm growing or dying or whatever. Some processes are happening. I am accumulating knowledge. I am physically changing. All this is happening. Whatever food I eat, it becomes me. It's a great intelligence which is working inside.
So there's some consciousness inside you.
I use the word intelligence.
Okay, correct. But intelligence. Where does this intelligence come from?
It is there within me. That's why I'm functioning. So this is there every living and non-living thing. I said living and non-living thing.
Okay.
So the intelligence is not limited to living things. I have a different notion about living and non-living materials. Which you see.
Yeah.
You will ask, this book has life? I believe yes.
Does it have life, sir, or does it have energy?
It has the intelligence that is working with me is working in every object.
So can you explain how this book has intelligence? For the viewers.
For example, look at it's made of what? It's made of materials.
Correct.
What is that material made of? It's made of elements.
Correct.
What is that element made of? It's made of electrons, protons, neutrons.
Correct.
Fundamentally, if you look at whatever shape it is, it's all made of the same stuff.
Correct.
I am also made of the same stuff. There is no difference between me and that. Okay. And you look at it, the type of energy inside it. Tremendous. You know the energy in this small book, in terms of material volume and the type of energy in those, they are frantically moving inside.
Beautiful.
You look inside because unfortunately you are not able to sense or perceive that type of movement that is happening inside. It is vigorously moving.
Correct.
And as if there's a life.
So let me ask you a question. It's very interesting, this discussion. So then what is the difference between a living and a non-living thing?
See, the difference is that we can think about me as a self. Unfortunately, I don't know whether this book thinks about itself as me. But today, when I am living, I can think about me as me. So I have an intelligence which is helping me to identify myself as a separate entity than from the outside.
Great. So
Whereas possibly the book doesn't have an ability.
It can't discriminate. It can't choose. It can't eat.
Yeah.
And ultimately, this book can be here for 1,000 years, but you and me cannot be.
That's a different issue because we are in transition. Book also will vanish. Its life period is very short. My life period is shorter than the book. That's all. But this will also vanish.
So don't you think that living creatures have got this special gift of being born and being undying? So this birth and death is there in living creatures, and it may not be there in inanimate.
It is there in everything in life. It is there in stars. It is there. All of these are going to start leaving to come to shape and also vanish. Do you think the sun is going to be ever forever? No. The earth is going to be forever? No. It has a birth. It has a death.
But we don't know when, and we don't know.
The time periods are different. That's all.
So let me move a little bit for a change out of this. You're too scientific, so for me to discuss with you is very difficult. So the point is that in this whole universe, you think, now I'm not asking you a scientific question here. Why do you think we have been born? Why do we live? Why do we die? Do we just come? Do we just go? Is there no purpose, or there's a purpose?
this is a fundamental question that a human being can ask to himself or herself. This is the greatest bliss we have. As you born as a human being, we can ask this question: why I am here?
Correct.
Who am I? And this question has been asked from time immemorial.
Correct.
All rishis and all learned people ask this question to themselves. That made them to search for it. And I am also asking this question to myself. And I am trying to find out the answer for it. I don't think that I know the answer for it, but I can only understand as much as I have read and tried to learn myself and thought about it myself. Only one answer. Why I am here is only to experience this life. Nothing more.
So with all humility, I must share with you, many of the rishis, many of the wise men, they have said something. You have some knowledge of Hindi, so I'll just tell you what they say. So when he says, सच को कोई ना जानता, ये अपरोक्ष अनुभूति है, इसका कोई सबूत ना, सच का एहसास होना है, प्रभु तो है हर जगह, वो हमें ना दिखते हैं, उनके बिन तो कुछ भी ना, वो हैं तो हम सब हैं. What this basically says is something scientific. So I'm going to ask you on that new point.
Yes.
Recently, in 2022, the Nobel Prize was given to 3 physicists for their work on quantum physics and quantum mechanics. Like you said, electrons, neutrons, protons, they broke it down to a quark. And the smallest particle of quark, when they were examining in a microscope, it disappeared. And these were baffled. But they went back to the theory of the law of thermodynamics, and they said energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can be transformed from one form to another. So they were writing it down. When they were writing down that energy, the particle again appeared, they say, and they called it the wave-particle duality. Is it something, what I'm talking is correct? So now, as per the new quantum physics, which is strange but true, many scientists now say this whole universe is energy. It is nothing really great or new because science has been saying this for decades. The science calls it dark energy or dark matter. Is it all in order? Spirituality. I'm not talking of religion. Spirituality told it many years before, many centuries before, also, that everything is energy. The only difference, spirituality calls it power. Science calls it energy. Spirituality says there's a supreme immortal power. Don't call it God, because the problem is in the word God. The moment you say God, science will say, hey, what God, man? Which God? How God? This face, one rabbit face, one dragon. There's a big problem in science and religion. So now give me your, I hope I've not gone too ahead. Give me your thought, keeping religion aside. Spirituality says everything, I call it in one word, I call it SIP, S-I-P, Supreme Immortal Power. Science calls it dark matter, dark energy. Now energy and power, from power you get energy, or energy is nothing but power. So give me your thoughts on this.
There is no doubt about this aspect that the whole of what observable universe in the form of material universe is nothing but energy. There is no doubt about it. And it has been proven scientifically also the energy and material are interchanging. And the whole of the material world which was created out of that energy existed prior to the creation is by converting the energy to materials. And vice versa is anytime possible. So it has been well proven that this transitioning is always possible. Even you talk about dark energy, dark matter, you know the rate of expansion of the universe proves that the observable world is not the observable world. There is so much of material which is not even seen. Then only the rate can be explained because the pull of the gravity is so high, which cannot be calculated for the observable mass of the stars and planets, etc. So it is very much there that the energy is the fundamental, and from that all this observable universe came about. And this nritya, this dance is going on, transitioning from energy to matter, matter to energy, and this is cyclic.
Correct.
And scientific world also knows it very well that it is a cyclic process, which all the previous spiritual seekers also realized it. There is absolutely no doubt on that aspect. I think everybody will agree with that. You also talk about the particle dance and duality of this perfectly well, and it is very well in consonant with the understanding of the universe by the scientific community. No doubt.
So therefore, where are we? What is Earlier, science and religion were at loggerheads.
Yes.
They were fighting with each other. So science and religion are fighting. But for science and spirituality, there is one thing, both agree. There is synergy. Both believe we are all energy.
See, science and religion fighting has not happened in our country. I think this is a wrong notion. It could have happened elsewhere. Science and religion's fighting is when we started talking spirituality as religion. In our culture, there was no fight. You look at the scientific work of Indian origin, they were done by rishis. The scientific work was done by rishis.
Correct.
So when you talk about the shastras, we talk about most of the shastras that we describe in the Indian culture were found by the one who was seekers at that time, the rishis. So there was no fight between religion, if you so-called religion. But the whole narrative changed when there were multiple religions in front of us.
Correct.
Then only changed.
Yeah.
Of course, let us go back to the spirituality. I better use the word spirituality.
Correct.
Spirituality is nothing but asking the fundamental question of our existence.
Correct. Absolutely.
So, those people who have been asking the fundamental questions of existence were asking the same questions of the material world. They were called scientists. Those who are asking the questions on the spiritual world, they were called seekers, or swamis, or rishis, or whatever. So, both are one and the same. To ask this question of external physical world and explain what you see is called science. You are putting a postulation and then trying to figure out how apple is falling. You find out a rule for it. That becomes science. But how is the apple came about, and you talked about the birth and life and cycling life, it becomes the notion of inner self, and that becomes a spiritual seeking. So, yes, a person can, I can be a material world exploration seeker, which is nothing but a scientist. A person who is looking at the internal world, the experiential seeker, which is nothing but a spiritual seeker. So, both are scientific in nature, and both are systematically scientific in nature. We put a hypothesis, we seek for the proof for it, and if you find the proof, we start believing it.
Perfect. So tomorrow, if science gets a proof of a little bit more proof on spirituality, it will be accepted.
It has to be accepted.
So what today's in my discussion, we are talking about various sciences. You talked about the apple. The apple was thrown up for centuries, so many centuries. When apple fell, somebody said, ouch. But when Newton, when it fell on his head, he did not say ouch. He asked why. Why the apple fell down? Why the apple did not go up? So, and then gravity was, what do you call, inference? Or what is it called?
Inferred out of gravity. Yes.
Through inference. So, in spirituality, I got an awakening on the 31st of August 2014. My name was Ravi. I realized I'm not Ravi. Everybody I met, hello, I'm Ravi, I'm Ravi. No. Ravi will die. So, do you believe we all will die or we will not die? I believe we don't die. Our body will die. But the essence, what you said, I don't know. I agree. But let me see today where we reach before the end of this discussion. What they say, the spirit, the soul, the Atma. Buddha refused. Buddha said Anatta. Why Buddha said Anatta? Because in the Hindu dharma at that time, they started believing my Atma, your Atma, my Atma will leave, then my Atma will circle for 13 days, so I must do puja for my Atma. Science says, come on, don't tell me this, bullshit or whatever. So this I cannot believe, but science does not deny death. Science accepts some energy has left. It's like, let us quickly move to a small thing, sir. Let's talk of, since you're a scientist, let's talk of a human computer. So can the computer work only with the hardware?
Yes.
Without any software?
It cannot work without software.
Correct. So you need hardware and you need software. So our body is like a hardware. And there's a subtle aspect of our body, what you call intelligence, mind, whatever you call, there's a software. If that is not there, then the body cannot function because it will be a failure. But somebody has said very beautifully, for a computer to work, hardware, software, not enough. You want hardware, you want software, and power supply. There are three elements. If the power supply is missing, it's exactly when the body, if I'm sitting here, software, hardware is there. If the power supply, in one flash goes, we don't know where, what, nobody knows. That is still scientifically to be proved. But one thing we know, just like inference, we throw the apple up, it came down. That means there must be some force called gravity. This death, something has happened. Scientifically, we can't say nothing has happened because that man can't talk, he can't walk, he can't breathe, he can't eat, he can't excrete. What happens? What has happened in that moment of death?
I do not know.
This, with all your humility, with folded hands. But this is the realization that we have to seek.
Of course, that is what we should all seek.
Yeah.
And we should all seek, even now, when it is thriving within us, there is something happening within us. It's something is leaving, and then let us not worry. Yeah. Because we have nothing to do with Atman, of course. At least the me, which is available here. But today, me has something to do with when I am alive and thriving. So let us be aware of the conscience or the energy or the intelligence what is sitting inside and how to be aware of it. I think that's what is more important.
So what is it that you feel we should be aware about? When you're saying we should be aware,
Yes.
we have to seek further, we have to realize further. There is something that we are seeking, which we don't know. For example, there is this earth. It is rotating. Sir, it is rotating precisely once in 24 hours. And then it is revolving precisely 365 and a quarter days. It can't be just without some intelligence, without some power.
There is an intelligence.
So what is that intelligence?
That is precisely we talk on the universal intelligence.
Correct. So today I'm only asking you, you're accepting there is one universal intelligence. That is the most important. Now, is it wrong to call that universal intelligence a supreme immortal power? Not a god.
Whatever. What is working there is what is working here also.
Correct.
Not the same.
Beautiful. So, correct me. Because you're a scientist and I'm a seeker, I have realized some truth, but I want to learn from you. We use the word soul, S-O-U-L. Right now, you're not fully ready to discuss soul because you're saying, I don't know. I love it. I love it the way you said, okay? But S-O-U-L to me is a spark of unique life. So, if my spark goes, your spark is still in you.
Yes.
But it is that some spark, some energy, some life, some prana, some force that leaves. We don't know what. You are saying, I also agree with you, we don't know what. But there is I like the word you use, universal. You said
Universal conscience or intelligence.
Universal intelligence. So this universal, powerful intelligence, it's also a power. It's not a dead matter. It's energy. How do you think is that connection between that energy which is in the universe and the energy which is in you? You said it's the same. How do you say it's the same?
My understanding, I have been thinking about it quite a bit.
Yeah.
The universal intelligence cannot experientially know what I am going through. For example, I am today as a form of a human being. I experience various emotions. I feel joy, I feel sadness, I feel pain, I feel competition, jealousy, and all sorts of experiences that I have as a human being. I go through that evolution.
Correct.
It is possible only when I am in this form.
Correct.
If I am in the form of a book, I can do that. If I am as a cow, I can't go through the same emotion as mine. So the possibility of knowing experientially the life in this world is possible only when the universal conscience resides in me and experiences through me.
Correct.
So the desire of the universal conscience is to experientially know the life. That's why it is inside me. So this is my understanding today.
No, it's beautiful. Let me tell you, it's such an amazing thing that you said. And you think that universal consciousness is not so much in this book. It's obviously in an amoeba or it's lower and lower and lower.
Yes.
For example, a dog may have an instinct, but a dog does not have that intellect or that intelligence like you and me have got.
In the evolution tree, we have reached a level that we can have a higher level of that universal intelligence in me.
And the human being is the highest level of,
as far as we know.
Yeah, because we don't see anything else. We have not seen ET. They talk about extraterrestrial.
I have no doubt that there could be more intelligent beings than us.
But we don't know.
We do not.
And therefore, because we don't know, as of now, we are.
And we are.
So, sir, let me ask you one more new aspect. A lot of people say bad things happen to good people.
Yeah.
Why bad things happen to good people? I got a disease. I was on the road. I was walking. A bus came and hit me. Scientifically, you did not pay attention. The bus hit you. But you know there's something deeper to this, and you know the word. It's called karma. So, what is your opinion scientifically on the word karma? Because I have a theory. I want to ask you first scientifically.
My answer to that first is distinguishing something bad and something good is not appropriate.
Okay.
It's a question of perception. What is good and what is bad is simply a state of mind.
Yeah.
And state of
understanding. Our state of yeah.
So I can say somebody is hit, somebody is absurd poverty, somebody is fell down and broken his leg. Is it a bad thing to happen? It will appear to be bad for some of us, but it may not be bad. It is very clearly been described by those who have understood this. All these physical experiences that a person goes through are part of his, as you said, is part of this karmic cycles. There's no doubt about it. And none of them are bad. All are a result of certain actions.
Absolutely. So there's action and reaction. Yes. There's a cause and there's an effect.
Absolutely. For everything that is happening, there is a relation of your actions.
So now, that's why near your house there are mango trees, but there are no apples on the tree.
Yes.
Can we see apples on a mango tree? Is it possible or impossible?
Impossible.
Because of the law. You also believe that this universe is being governed by certain universal laws? You have any doubt?
As scientists, yes, there are laws only.
Yeah. Because the law of rotation, law of cycle, law of everything is law, correct? Yes. So the law of karma also is another law.
Could be.
Because we can't plant mangoes and get apples. Yes. Not possible.
Yes, not possible.
Now, since you have some acceptance of the law of karma, when we die, body will die. We don't wait for finishing all our karma and then say, okay, tata, goodbye, and we go. So there's some unsettled karma. As per philosophers and sages, if there is karma, good or bad, like you said, that man broke his leg. There's nothing good or bad. He has broken somebody else's leg yesterday, today his leg is broken. It is tit for tat. So in this law or this karma, when they say you have an unsettled karma, they believe, now I'm jumping to a next thing, they believe you have to come back to earth in a rebirth. I don't know scientifically whether there's any, but personally, both from a point of view from inner science and outer science, what is your view?
I think it must have some basis of thinking like that, because the concept of birth and cycles of birth and death of souls or the supreme intelligence residing within me is created out of the simple principle of evolution. For example, the state which I am today is the highest level of conscience, the intelligence within me can reach. Because this is the only form, human being is the only form who can stand up and ask this question, who am I, why I am here. This only life form that can ask this question, I believe. Any other life form today doesn't have that level of intelligence. But we also know that we came through a process of evolution. Human being didn't happen all of a sudden on this earth. It came about from amoeba, bacteria, over millions of years of evolution. We reached this stage.
Okay.
They may further evolve to much more supreme intelligence later. Given the time, another million of years left. This is not the human being which is going to be here on earth. There will be something else will be there. So this evolutionary process requires a concept like this, because it is not only the physical form which is evolving, it is the inner intelligence is also evolving. So that evolution happens over millions of life forms are taking birth and death. Otherwise, this growth will not happen. The inner consciousness cannot happen without the cycles of evolution. So I think so that the concept of death, again taking birth, with the same soul taking another life form, must be a possibility. No doubt.
So as per my realization, let me share with you. In this world, you heard the word nirvana, moksha, liberation, salvation. First of all, personally, are you with me when we believe that these so many religions and so many gods cannot be? You have any doubt?
It can be.
So many religions and so many gods. Yes. Or there can be only one supreme power.
That is a different question. The question of having a one single supreme intelligence, I think that is not a different.
That we already agree.
That I agree.
Yeah.
But it can manifest in any thousands and thousands of forms.
Correct.
It means that you can have thousands of gods, thousands of religions. Because all these are created by our conscience and intelligence. Because the supreme intelligence has not created all the gods.
But these gods that you're talking of are all manifestations of that one supreme.
No. It is the creation of our conscience, our mind. Do you think that these gods have been created by the supreme conscience and sent to us? Absolutely not. The supreme conscience is simply sitting there and watching all of this. He has no business with our life. If at all such a supreme conscience is there, he has no business with our life. We run our life. And all that you see here in the form of religion, all that you form in the form of gods that you are putting in front of you, are the manifestations that our mind has created. Otherwise, do you think that the Supreme has sent one god like this to that land, and another god like this to this land, and the third god to another land of the earth, and made them all of them fight each other?
So
I don't think so.
it can't be, right?
And that means it is simply a creation of man, human being, and their intelligence only created all of this what we follow.
Let me ask you a very, very productive question. Don't you feel bad that we human beings, we are killing each other in the name of religion?
Absolutely.
It's pity. It's a real pity, correct? So we all human beings basically are that same universal supreme consciousness and
There's
energy.
only one and the same.
But religion, which is supposed to be good, all religions are
Who
good.
said that religion is supposed to be good?
No, to teach us the beginning, to pray, to be good, to be moral.
No, religions were not created to be good. That is the whole issue. See, you think that the religions that you are talking about today are created to be good? They are created for social order. The concept of religion that you are talking about today, for example, Hindu, there is no religion called Hindu. It is a way of life.
Correct. Sanatan Dharma.
There was no religion. Christianity has come out as a religion. Islam has come out as a religion. Buddhism said to be the offshoot of this. But when you talk about religion, it has become a system for social order. Okay, the social order was never for good. It is for social order. So police is for good, but they also hit people. Okay. So the problem with religion is that they create certain rules and boundaries for which human actions are to be done. Every religious book you read, you will see how you should conduct yourself.
It's a good theology, a good philosophy of life.
You are using the word called good. It is good or bad is not the question.
It is
created for social order.
But today, people are killing each other in the name of religion.
Because they believe that what is written in that book is supreme. I am telling you, what is written in the book is nothing. It is created at a point in time by human beings, for the social order, and it is subject to change.
And it is not changing. They are trying to use that house.
The one which is written at that time should be followed today. It is absolutely nonsense.
Correct.
A religion should be an evolving rule of law, like our constitution. It can be amended.
Correct.
A religious book also should be amended.
It's not being amended because that messenger told that thousands of years.
When you are wanderers around the place we are working.
Beautiful. Very
beautiful. It is written, and you still say in a modern society where communication is through net, you think that religion should have the same principles?
So, don't you believe that if all the religions today, if all the religions subject themselves to one supreme universal truth, then the world would have peace?
It's a good wish that you have.
Idealistic.
But it will never happen.
Why it will not happen?
Because human beings are different.
And they're all selfish. Everybody's got selfish interests.
Because of the nature of the whole correction that you can do is not on religions. The correction that you can do only on individuals.
But how will you change 8 billion individuals?
There is no other way. You will need to create powerful individuals who will have an ability to influence people and make this message, as you said. When this message spread, how Buddha was able to transform people? The whole of this nation was once a nation of a different sect.
Caste and creed.
He was able to create a powerful message to bring them all under one way.
Beautiful. Yeah, very beautiful. Very beautiful.
Yeah. You want to catch on people to change them through your powerful messages. There is no other way.
So let me ask you, what therefore is the purpose of life? Do you think that human beings have some purpose? Or you think we just come, we dance, eat, drink, die and go?
So, in my understanding, there is no purpose.
There's no purpose.
Yes, we have come here. I told you the purpose of the supreme intelligence. There's a purpose for the supreme intelligence for me to be here. For any human being to be here is to experientially know life. And he knows it through me because he is residing within me. This is what I understand.
So don't
Because he resides within me,
correct.
he experientially knows the life. Otherwise, because he doesn't have a physical form, he has no way to know love. He has no way to know pain. He has no way to know death. And he knows it through me.
Beautiful. So now you've touched a very beautiful thing. You said there is no purpose, but you then said the purpose is
Purpose of the supreme intelligence.
No.
My purpose.
Sir, with all due respect, that is the purpose of the supreme intelligence, but now he's manifesting in you. So you have to realize this. The Bible.
So my purpose of life is simply experientially live through this life.
And to realize that supreme intelligence in you.
Yes, of course.
So this is what let me tell you a few things, and you correct me if I'm wrong. The Bible says the kingdom of God is within. The Bible says God lives in the temple of your heart.
Yes.
Adi Shankara in the 8th century used the word, and the Prime Minister, our Honorable Prime Minister, when he was inaugurating Kedarnath, he used the words Neti Neti Tattvamasi. Neti Neti means you are not this body, you are not this mind, not the intelligence, you are not the body, you are Tattvamasi. That thou art, which is what you are saying. So are you in sync with this belief that we are all that?
There's no doubt about it. I said that the supreme intelligence is the one which resides within me.
And that is our purpose.
That is what is residing within you.
Yeah, and that is our purpose.
The purpose is different.
Okay.
The first is the manifestation I described. The manifestation of the supreme intelligence is that every living and non-living thing.
Okay.
Now, even non-living thing exists.
Agreed, because it is about energy.
The supreme intelligence manifests in the form of non-living things also, and supreme intelligence manifests in the form of living things also, both for experientially knowing the existence of it.
So I read a book called P. Osimo, Particle of the Supreme in Every Molecule of Matter.
Yes.
There is a particle of the Supreme. The difference is that particle of the Supreme is manifesting as a book, as a sand, as a mountain, as a sea. But the energy that is manifesting in you, me, a cat, a dog is alive. It seems to be having what you're using the word intelligence, I'm using the word consciousness. It is one and the same. The only thing which we have not concluded at this point, you are accepting the truth that there is that universal consciousness or universal power or what is the supreme intelligence, universal intelligence in each person. But man has forgotten this. So in Hindi, okay, you understand? So in Hindi I say, इंसान का पाप क्या है, पापों का बाप क्या है, इंसान भगवान है पर सोचता इंसान है, इंसान सच में शक्ति है, लगता पर वो व्यक्ति है, इंसान का पाप यही है, पापों का बाप यही है, इंसान तो आत्मा है, आत्मा परमात्मा है, इंसान जो ये ना जानता करता है पाप सबसे बड़ा. Now I want to tell you a small thing on this. If you and me realize that we are that universal intelligence, we are that universal consciousness, then we will not kick each other. We will not murder each other. We will not kill each other. Today,
that's the ultimate thing that we must achieve.
So this is what I call the ego. That ego of you saying I, and you are Somanath, I am Atman, Ravi, I am Ravi. But in reality, we are all that universal consciousness. And this, even as a scientific, you are agreeing, as a scientific, as such a senior scientist of India, and people don't realize this. Why do you think people are in ignorance, and why people don't realize that we are all manifestations of the one supreme? Why are people not able to understand this?
That is because of our memory. Our conscience work in different layers. First thing is that first the memory that we are the one which is the supreme is not written to us in a manner. If you write to us with that type of awareness that you are the supreme intelligence, and then you come to this world, the life will be a different nature.
Correct.
And I believe the supreme intelligence itself doesn't want it to be that way.
Absolutely. No, you're right. You're 100% right. Yeah.
The supreme intelligence wanted all us to realize that we are the children of Him, and to live in the harmony.
Yeah.
He would have done it like that.
The drama would not be there. There would be no substance.
This way. See, He wants us to fight. He wants us to kill each other. He wants us to enjoy. He wants us to feel the pain and all of this, because it is His that intelligence desire to do like that, and you are nobody to correct it.
It's called his Leela. This is Leela.
Yeah. So you can only attempt in your field that you think that what you see around is making you feel that I should do a correction. Do it. If you think that you don't have to do it, you are only observing and watching this drama and going through it. That's also okay. It is your choice.
You said something very beautiful. What you said, we all evolve.
Yeah.
So some people who don't evolve, then they keep on going in the circle. But some rare people, suppose like you realize that the supreme universal intelligence is in me and it is me.
Yeah.
Then this is what called moksha. This is called nirvana. This is called salvation. We don't know. We are inferring. We are only inferring. But the point is, this is the avidya. This is, and you're right. The supreme consciousness does not expect this whole world to become universally intelligent and universally aware. Then it will come to an end. So the drama, for him to enjoy the drama, whoever it is sitting up there, he's enjoying the leela. And another beautiful word, I don't know if we covered this, Maya.
Yes.
Are you familiar with the word Maya?
There is a beautiful story of Narada taking this dip in the river. You know that story.
And
he had an argument with, I don't remember whom. He said that, I think it is Ganesh or somebody told Narada that the whole of this is not real. The whole thing is a drama. Narada argued with him, what drama? This is my hand, I am feeling pain, and we are standing near the shore of this river and talking to each other. You think this is all drama? Then he said, Narada, now you go and take a dip in the river. Come back. We will discuss it later. Then Narada went into the river, he took a dip. The moment he dipped, he felt himself in a beautiful city. And he was walking through the streets and he saw a beautiful lady and they fell in love and he married her and after that they had children and the whole life was going on very happily. Children were growing and one day he went for a bath and in a river and then he took a dip and then got up. Then he got up, he saw the So in an instant of his taking a dip and coming out, he has experienced so much of time and experience that he understood. And the memory of that experience was allowed to be within him for knowing it. And he realized that the whole of this experience which I went through was just a Maya. So the story of Maya is beautifully explained in the story. I don't think where from I got it.
No, it's a beautiful story and it's right.
So basically we must know whatever I am going through today, I know it is a Maya. But I have to go through this. Because whatever I am born, I am sitting in front of you, talking to you all this today. It may be getting recorded, but then all of this is simply an instant in the whole life.
No, beautiful. You are so advanced spiritually. So I just quickly, since you said that, I'm going to tell you something else. People think that a dream is a dream.
It is like a dream.
And this is real. This is also a dream.
It's a dream.
Only difference is that we will wake up from this dream after life comes when we
wake up. We will close this discussion, we get out of the door and go down the stairs and go to my room. Then I think back of what happened. Was it a real or a dream? There is a difference between that and the dream. There is no difference. Tomorrow, this event is a number in my life. It's not. But you come back to this room, you don't see you and me. You will see an empty room.
But in the dream, what happens? Suppose in the dream.
It is nothing but a dream. What is happening here is
correct. But suppose in the dream, I borrow 10 lakh rupees from you. In the morning, when you wake up, you can't come and say, no, give back the 10 lakh rupees. Because I borrowed the 10 lakh only in the dream. But in real life, okay, the real life also I borrow. But ultimately it's all the dream. This is what I said. This book we have written. It's called Osimon, Particle of the Supreme. In every, so I want you to, when you're free, this is called the soul. I know soul scientifically. I want you to ponder because you're the greatest scientist of India, but also you are so deeply spiritual. See here I say God is not God. God is a supreme immortal power. So this is something I believe that if religion can only
you ask me the same I am seeing here. Whether God is inanimate and inanimate.
It's there. God is everywhere. But God is not God. God is a universal, what you call, I like it, universal intelligence. It's a power, supreme. So I tell people, since you are also religious, I say, Prabhu paas hai, dur nahi wo Prabhu paas hai, Atma hi Paramatma hai, dil ke andar उसका निवास है, शिव भी वो वही राम है, हनुमान वो वही घनश्याम है. You agree or you don't agree? We may go to 100 temples and we may do 100 pujas, but ultimately that universal consciousness is what we are. And one point we could not come to a conclusion. To the point we could not come to a conclusion. According to the scriptures, in terms of these wise people of Sanatana Dharma, they say the ultimate goal, moksha, is to realize that you are that universal consciousness and then not be caught in this leela, not be caught in this maya. Buddha did not go so deep, he said nirvana. Only he said freedom from the cycle of rebirth. The Western religions call it salvation, they call it other things. But before we close, I'm with folded hands grateful to you for spending this time. But I think it's very beautiful. This science of the outer world which you are exploring is so much beautifully to be aligned with the science of the inner world because they are not different.
They're not different at all.
And we are too much exploring the outside. We are so lost in this maya, we are so lost in this leela, we have forgotten to explore this. And my idea of meeting you was just to see, there's a myth. People believe most scientists, they will not even agree to talk of a power. They don't. Scientist means either the scientist is an atheist or agnostic. Even no. I also love what you said. We should not blindly believe. I just love it what you said. But we must know.
Yes.
And what the sages have taught and what I got the spark, we must realize. We have to open our real eyes to realize. What you said, when Narada dipped in the water, he got lost. We get lost in this world. But if we are awakened to the truth.
You said beautifully, but unfortunately the situations that human beings are of different caliber.
Yeah.
Some of them can achieve that understanding of the universe, connect between the universal intelligence to us and then see ourselves in the same place. Maybe I am talking only as a verbal jugglery that you both are saying, all this, anybody can speak, but to feel it and experientially do it is something which is different.
Yeah.
So to realize that I am the supreme and you are also the same, and then that within my, it becomes the nature of me.
Correct.
It is something fantastic. I have not become like that.
But
I can only say I feel it is so. But this is the journey that everybody should go. Some of them will take a journey to some step. And then it takes, I believe that it takes many lives to reach that level. Maybe we are part of that journey which will take you to that path. But it's very important for us to understand. Then it takes a lot of time to understand this.
But you said something so beautiful, but because I got this spark of realization 10 years back, I shut down all my work. I shut down all my business because my only mission, they call it Sat Chit Anand. Sat Chit Anand means you experience that Anand when you have Chit, consciousness of Sat.
Yes.
And the truth is just this. It's not so complicated, but we are not able to realize it. And my mission is only this, to help people. And the reason being this, if you realize this, you are free from pain of the body. Because it's not me, this is my body. Body will get diseased. Body will die. But I am not that. Just like this shirt is not, I make this shirt as is mine. I am not the shirt. The mind, if you try to search the mind, where is the mind? You cannot find. If I tell you what is the shape of the globe, you say it's round. I've asked people what is the shape of the mind. Many of them say, no, that is brain. Don't confuse brain with the mind. So the problem is, mind appears. In meditation, when you are shan't, mind is nothing but bundle of thoughts. When you still the mind, you kill the mind. The mind disappears. You reach consciousness. So when we reach that state, I am not the body, I am not the mind, then the ego, you're not the body and mind, what is ego? It's a lie. This is that ultimate state of Ananda. And my mission of life, I'm so grateful you have spent this time. I have no words to explain, and such a pleasure, such an honor. Your words will inspire people to realize that we are all that universal consciousness, that intelligence. I'm supremely grateful to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.